everybody? It's your boy, the man, the myth, the legend, the anomaly, Dwayne O'Neal Robinson, back at it again with another YouTube video. Listen, if this is your first time clicking onto my channel or clicking on one of my videos, I would love for you, please, to click on that subscribe button and on that bell so every time I upload, you will be notified. And to my original subscribers, I want to thank you for your continuous love and support. Okay, listen, I am going to be talking about something very personal to me. Growing up as an only child, I am a professional when it comes to this topic because I was raised as an only child. And there's some things I want to address and talk about because some people get they got some misconceptions and some myths that I want to break and shatter. And I want to give people a little bit of an insight of what it is being an only child, okay? And I just want to tell you at this point in time my family dynamic. So I am not 100% an only child. I was raised as an only child, and here's why. On my paternal side, my father's side, I got two half-brothers, and I'm the middle child on my dad's side, right? And for my mom's side, my maternal side, I am solely the only child my mother has ever carried. Me. Okay? So, now, being an only child, people think that, oh man, that sucked. You were alone. Nope, not for me, and let me tell you why. On my dad's side of the family, I got a clan of cousins, okay? We are all within the same age range, very close. I got older ones and younger ones, okay? And then on my mom's side of the family, my mom was adopted. So get this. On her adopted side of the family, I got a whole slew of cousins. And on her biological side of the family, I got a whole fleet of cousins over there from various different age ranges too. Then on top of that, I had my church family. I was very active in church with doing different activities, youth days, children's days, choir practice, camping trips, you name it, we did it. So I had my church family, and then I had my neighbors and the kids on the block, and then I had friends in school, so I was never alone. I never felt lonely, nor did I ever ask my parents for a sibling. Never did. In all of my 30 years when I was a kid, never asked for a sibling. I just didn't feel like there wasn't a need to. I just remember that there was a time and a place for everything in life. You know, when I'm at school, I got my school friends. When I'm at home, I'm by myself. When I can go outside, when I got my church, I got my biological family, my family. Everything just had a space and a place within my life growing up as an only child. So it depends. For me, I was never alone. I was never lonely. I was never really bored. I always had something to do. I always had someone to talk to, play with, do things with, even like follow behind. And I just really enjoyed growing up as an only child. Another thing that I would like to address is not all people that were raised as an only child are spoiled. I, for one, was not spoiled. I was not born with a silver spoon in my mouth. Everything that I have or had, I had to work hard for it. Okay, I worked for it. It didn't matter what it was. My parents made me work for it. They never handed anything to me. They never gave anything to me. I was raised in a very religious, biblically sound, militant, orderly household. Mediocrity was never, ever accepted. So that helped me along with a lot of other people that I knew that were raised in similar households like me, that were raised as an only child, be very self-sufficient, very independent, very hardworking, very like driven to go and get things. Definitely not spoiled. Hated hearing that. That just annoyed me. And what even annoyed me even more when people be like, "Oh well, you're spoiled in your own way." How, Sway? How? Spoiled in what way? It's either you spoiled or you're not spoiled. I've never heard somebody eat, "Oh, I'm gonna eat half a spoiled chicken." That made no sense. Anyways, that's besides the fact. But we also love to be alone, which 9 times out of 10, a person that is raised as an only child is known as an emotional, introverted extrovert. So the emotional part, I'm breaking it all down for you. The emotional part pertaining to this personality trait is that their emotional intelligence is very high. We're very empathetic type of people, right? Very understanding, very caring, very selfless, not selfish. Not all of us, we got some very selfish and self-centered people that were raised as an only child, but I'm not talking about me or those people. I'm talking about 9 times out of the 10, the max majority of an only child is the empathetic, emotionally, intelligently sound, observant, one that has an old soul. You know, it seems like we were here before because we're around adults the majority of the time. So we pick up those cues and those mannerisms that we see from the adults that are within our vicinity. Now, the introverted part, an only child loves to be alone. I don't know what it is, but I love to be alone. I like to think. I like to be able to just hear no noise. I find pleasure in silence. Sometimes I get so tired of my own self, I won't even hear myself breathe. As crazy as that may sound. Okay, I'm just used to being conformed in my home and everything being clean and everything put in its place in order and organized, and there's no dysfunction. There's peace and serenity. God's presence is like, this is where it's at, okay? So I don't know what it is to really live in a mess, but 9 times out of 10 we're pretty clean people that love to be alone. Now, the extroverted part is this. We're social butterflies. We can go out there, party like rock stars, socialize. Hey, how you doing? What it do, baby? Let me talk to you real quick. Yo, bro, dap it up, keep it pushing. Woo, woo. But then we're like, all right, we're done. It's time to be able to go back into our corner and shut it down, right? Only children are very mature people, very rational thinkers, very factual, people that are looking very business savvy too. We kind of deal with a lot of things in our lives as business transactions, like what you could do for me, I could do for you, you help me, I help you, we gonna work this thing out type of thing. Not tit for tat, and not like, oh, if you do something for me, you gotta do it back for me. Nah, we're, like I said, we're very selfless people, 9 times out of 10. So we're not really like that. Scientifically, data has proven that people who are raised as an only child, because we're so used to being alone for such a long period of time, we usually get married later, right? And we usually have more than one child because which I can see in another 10, 15, 20 years, where becoming an only child becomes difficult. When both of your parents gets older. I personally started to feel and see the pinch, because when mom needs something and dad needs something and you're depending on you and you're the only child, you really have to know how to dribble and juggle and shift gears to be like, all right, I'm going to do this for my mom to honor my mom. I'm going to do this for my dad to honor my dad. I'm going to make sure that they're right and they're good. So it's like, it's a tug of war. Versus when you have siblings, you know what I mean? You got somebody there's a support system there where you're like, all right, we're going to look at mom, who's going to take care of dad, who's going to do this, I don't have that. So it's solely on me. And that's the only downfall that I would say being an only child, where it's difficult. Juggling the dynamics of making sure that both of my parents are good. It could be a challenge. And I know as time progresses, like I said, it's going to be more difficult. That's why, again, people who are raised as an only child, they usually have a lot of children because they know what that pressure feels like, and they don't want their children to go through that, or their child to go through that. That's why they have another one. And parents, please study your children as well, because you will know if your child needs a sibling. Study your child. You'll know if they need a sibling or not, because if they're like, oh, I'm lonely, or they ask one, then it's your duty to give them one, whether you like it, yes or no, because you don't want your kid to be weird. Even though we're all weird, but you know what I'm talking about, like socially awkward. And it's okay if you're socially awkward, you just gotta develop that skill. And it's okay, right? It makes you have a little bit of personality, it makes you quirky and cool in your own right, just to be really honest. That's about it. Growing up as an only child. I hope that gave you guys some insight. We're not spoiled, we're not self-centered, we're not selfish, very independent, very self-sufficient type of people. We love hard, and for me, don't mess with us, because you never know what we're packing. From a very young age, I always used to say, don't start nothing, don't be nothing. And my parents knew me very well. If they heard that I misbehaved or I did something out of my character, they're still going to listen to what the individual has to say, but then they're going to be like, look, I know Dwayne, so what did they do, or what did you do to provoke him? Because he don't just be popping off like that. You got to do something to him for him to pop off like that. And that's just how I am. I'm a very loving person, but at the end of the day, don't try to play me like the lotto, because trust me, you will go bankrupt with me. No cap. So yeah, that's basically it for today's video. I thank you for tuning in. I hope you gained some insight about me growing up as an only child and why only children are the way that they are. We just are loners at times. We're mature and we're pretty cool people. If you date one, just know that sometimes we just gotta withdraw and disappear because we want to be by ourselves, and we don't really like a lot of noise and stuff like that. So, just be patient with us. Be patient with us. If you're married to one, just understand our woes and understand our benefits as well. There's pros and cons to it, and I hope, like I said, this gave you a little bit of insight. Until next time, love y'all. Peace.